here we are at the end of another playing season for this team, and it's the same old phrase. I don't know how the Chargers can come back from that. I mean, what a remarkable Saturday night it was in Jacksonville, the way that things started for Trevor Lawrence, 4 interceptions and then 4 touchdowns in his final 5 drives. And then I guess to place you in the shoes of Joey Bosa, if you can, what you saw, what you think happened, I give you the floor on all of it, Chris Long.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a very Chargery way to lose a game. You almost knew it was too good to be true. Now, I did see a guy bet $11,000 on the Chargers money line. I guess he'd never seen the Chargers play before. He lost $1.4 million late Saturday night. That'll ruin your weekend. I'm looking at the game, and I'm thinking, hey, right before the half, it'd be nice to go to the locker room without giving up a touchdown to give Jacksonville the ball back. You know, Trevor starts that run. He just had such a short memory. But more than anything, you know, and I've kind of lamented this at different times. Like, Brandon Staley seems like a guy who sticks to his guns, right? Like, we do what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a fault. I could hear him at the podium had they won that game saying, like, we continue to attack or something like that, right? But 25 passes, 8 runs, not going to cut it. Like, from a time of possession standpoint, like, not even, you know, the clock management aspect of it. It's not even, you know, putting the ball in the air. I was so surprised by not only the way they ran their offense in the second half, but the way they covered. You know, they were a lot more aggressive. They were a lot more aggressive in the first half, especially on second down. They, like, manned up a lot. In the second half, they played, like, cover 3, and they were off. And, you know, Ingram's making linebackers look bad. They're busting coverages. I think somebody jumped a dig on one of the touchdowns, and then somebody busted on the second Jones touchdown. You know, so for a defensive head coach to kind of apply his philosophy to offense and just the way they attack the game, and that to not work out, and then, you know, defensively to give up all those points. I mean, it's one of the worst defensive performances in playoff history and a half. It's awful. And then, you know, at the end of the game, it's 30-20, and if you're that aggressive on 4th and short, you trot out Dicker, and he misses the kick. And, you know, now it's 30-20, and here's the guy who's really not afraid of anything. It's Doug Peterson. It's 4th and 7 early in the game. We're going. You know, we're going for 2. We're going to go for 2 for the win. We're gonna get the ball on the edge. And the timeout called right before Etienne got the ball on the edge to pick up that 4th and 1 and really ice the game. He knows exactly the look he's looking for, and he didn't have it, and he calls the timeout. I just thought Doug did such a great job. There's also something here where it's like Doug's Trevor Lawrence is kind of like, I don't know, security blanket, man. Like, that's a really good offensive head coach and his quarterback. They're tight, right? And you can tell Doug and Trevor have a good relationship. And I don't know what he said to him on the sidelines after he threw 4 picks. But just to be able to manage that situation, you know, I want to give credit to Trevor Lawrence in a big way. But Doug alluded to, you know, like the way Brett Favre used to play, like there was a short memory. And, you know, it's the same thing for Trevor. And so I thought this was a big, big deal for them. Also for Trent Baalke to sit there and see, like, all your free agents pan out. We were making fun of them, right? I made fun of them. Like, we paid Christian Kirk, like, all this money, reset the market. You know, my co-host Macon's a big Giants fan. Evan Ingram, I don't think he saw that coming. He's
Christian,
been a key piece there.
Yeah, I got Christian Kirk coming up in hour number 3. I mean, Christian Kirk, who had the touchdown to make it 30-28, and you know, I just want to get your thoughts on Bosa, though. I mean, so much conversation happening with him.
Yeah.
I know you just mentioned how, you know, you'd like to know what Doug Peterson said to Trevor Lawrence at halftime or after he threw his 4th interception. I'd love to know what Bosa said to referee Sean Smith that made the ref continue.
Yeah.
I mean, like, track him down, and then Bosa doubled down, and then Bosa doubled down later on after his head coach. I mean, that was wild, with Brandon Staley picking up Bosa's headgear for him after Bosa had thrown it to earn 15, and then he threw it again right in front of Staley's feet. I'm wondering.
It was crazy. And, you know, like, I love Bosa and everything. He just got to keep his head. And the neutral zone infraction is a 4-point difference. And then, obviously you don't want to lose your cool in that situation. I have no idea what he said to him. There's two conversations I'd like to be privy to, that one and then the Chris Jones penalty against Indy earlier this year.
Yeah.
I remember they just threw a flag on Chris Jones, like just something he said. And then obviously you lose your cool and you slam your helmet a bunch. Not once, but twice. Staley ran over and picked it up for him. It was like a pit crew, putting that thing back together. And, like, for the rest of the game, Rich, if you've ever slammed your helmet, which I know you probably have,
yes.
You can't put the damn thing together. It's really hard. Like, there's a lot of pieces in there that they all get loose. And, the next two possessions you're fumbling to, put the pieces back together. It was such a meltdown, man. A meltdown in all phases. And then Justin Herbert, and I don't like putting blame on quarterbacks for blowing big leads. I mean, people were piling on Matt Ryan about the game against the Vikings and everything. I'm one that, like, I'm a defensive player. I think you got to get stops and you got to remain aggressive, on defense and that sort of thing. You have to possess the football longer than they did. But Keenan Allen's open and they have a chance to go up, 31 to whatever it is. Was it nothing at that point, or 7? And he misses him in the end zone. And, it was 34. It would have made a big difference. It would have been a 4-point difference had he hit him in the end zone. He's wide open. So I know there's throws that Herbert wants back. There's trips to the red zone they want back. That they don't seem like a big deal when you're rolling in the first half. And neither does giving Jacksonville the ball back before the half, but they go get 7, and I think that was a big difference.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.